So we're going to look at connecting more than 2 anchor points together using the big fat knot as a way of bringing everything in and equalising it. Okay, so I've just attached to my first anchor with the termination end of the rope, okay, figure of 8 and a stopper knot. What I'm going to do is clip into the second and the third anchor, just screw those carabiners straight up, no knots, still slipping through, straight away in like so. Now at this point you need to decide whether to put a knot on here as well, which might be if you don't have enough rope here to carry it down, or you don't want to use this static rope on the rest of your setup. Okay, it depends on the setup you're using. If you want to carry on using this, so perhaps you've got a lot of spare rope like I have and you're going to use that as part of an abseil line or similar, then you probably want to incorporate this in the rest of the knot. So I'm going to leave it loose and ready to incorporate it in the rest of the knot. You're going to take these loops, add this rope in as well for a third one, and you're going to equalise them. So what you're going to do is take them, all 3 of them, and pull them in the direction that they're going to be loaded, and then tie them off like that. And the point of this is when it's finished, all 3 of these anchors will be loaded equally. They're all going to take an equal amount of load. If one of them was to fail, because they're tied off here, the other 2 wouldn't be shock loaded. If you don't tie it off here, then they could be shock loaded or the whole system could fail. So that's the reason to bring it into one point and tie it off. So I've got here 3 loops of rope that I'm going to tie off together in one big overhand knot, okay, or big fat knot as we're going to call it here. Take it, make sure they're all equal, make sure they're all loading the anchors equally, and just in one go tie it round the big overhand. Make sure all 3 loops make it out the bottom. Pull nice and hard in the direction that it's going to be loaded in, and you can always pull up on each of these individual strands to make sure this knot is nice and neat like that. Before we walk away from this and say it's done, we just need to pull it in the direction it's going to be loaded and feel each of these anchors to check they're all loaded equally, which they are in this case. What's really important, if we haven't put a knot on this end here to finish it up, we must make sure that this strand here is incorporated within the whole knot here, okay, and then we can reuse this rope that I've got hanging freely below. As I said, I've got 3 loops left on my big fat knot. I'm going to need to clip all of them, okay? So whether that is that I've got a job for each individual loop, or perhaps I've got 2 jobs, so I've got 2 loops together and 1 loop separate, or whether I just take 1 carabiner and stick it through the whole lot, like so, okay? Doesn't matter, as long as all of them are clipped. What we don't want to do is clip 2 of them, leave 1 out, and then put a full weight load on that, because this one isn't being used, it can then slither its way back into the knot and fail. Just to show you the other way, I've terminated this knot here, so if that was the end of the rope I'd also use a stopper knot here, but I've got plenty left there to play with whatever else I need. So I've terminated that, so now all I need to do is take these 2 loops, and I don't need to put a loop in this one as well. Okay, still adjustable, so depending on what direction I'm pulling this in, that middle one that's loose will adjust. Okay. And then when I find the point I want to pull it in, grab it together, and this time just with 2 strands of rope, I'm going to make that big fat knot. Okay. This is useful for top rope setups as well as lowers, abseils, that sort of thing, made out of static rope.